Hey there, fellas. All right, in this episode, we'll be doing something interesting. We've been seeing people having fun with this on TikTok, yeah? It's rated at 750 degrees Celsius, and the temperature in the combustion chamber goes up to about 500. So let's shake the can and paint the piston skirts. There we go. So here's the idea. We want to try what you just saw. We have a bit of black and silver heat-resistant paint. The black is rated at 1200 degrees, though it's only 700 for the silver. But no worries, I mean, if the scratches are deep, you'll need to lay on multiple layers. Once it dries, the pistons are gonna be like brand new. This stuff is really cheap. Yeah, we're using spray paint to restore an engine. According to the author of that video, the temps in the combustion chamber only go up to 500 degrees. We got spray paint that can withstand 700 or 1200, so this might actually even work. What to do about scratches on the cylinders? You grab a different can of heat-resistant paint. This time it's gonna be silver. And paint the cylinder walls like this. Make sure to get all of the scratches. Okay, let's try restoring an engine using some heat-resistant spray paint. If that's what the viewers want, we're happy to oblige. Let's do this. Alright, we've got everything assembled. We're running an improvised fuel system, we've hooked up a battery. Well, it's running, that's a good start. Pay attention to the exhaust. Hazy, as it should be. Fantastic, and so now, switch it off. Man, what a stinker. You can clearly see that the only thing that can help this engine is a bit of paint. I'm kidding. Okay, let's tear it down, examine the internals, work out how thick a layer of paint we need to apply, and commence the restoration process. Let's do this. Pedal to the metal, let's do this. Six atmospheres. 5.5. Come on. That's no help at all. 6. Cylinder 4's turn. That's a solid 7. Terrific. So after testing the compression, 6, 5.5, 6, 7. Great, that's a 1.5 kilo difference between 2 and 4. Right, let's have a look inside this engine. We try an engine repair method from TikTok, heat-resistant spray paint. Translation and voiceover by BMI Russian. Here I have the piston, and what do we see? It doesn't seem to be in that horrible condition, though you can't say that about all of them. Can't judge them all by the condition of just one. That one is okay. But if we look at this one, this side is good, but the other one, not so much. But that's good, I mean, the whole point is to try and restore it. The instructions tell us to paint the pistons black, while the cylinders we'll be painting... or coating rather, yeah. That seems like a more appropriate term. Anyway, so they'll be colored silver. So black pistons, silver cylinders. Let's do this. We've got a special merch offer for you, fellas, to brighten the mood in these turbulent times. Starting today, we'll be offering a mystery gift box. When purchasing the box, you're guaranteed to receive a certain selection of stuff from our shop, as well as the chance to win something big. You spend a fixed $30 price for the box, and you're guaranteed to receive a Garage 54 mug, a pair of socks, a sticker, an air freshener for your car, as well as a key fob. 1 out of 10 buyers will be sent an expensive gift on top of that, which could be a cap, t-shirt, hoodie, or a document holder. So we'll be putting something expensive into 1 out of every 10 boxes. If you'd like to support our channel and try your luck, there's gonna be a link in the video description. This is looking really good indeed. We've painted the cylinders silver, the pistons we painted black, we've got the rings in there, we've greased everything up. Okay, we've got the whole thing assembled, complete with a cooling system. Now I pump in a bit of gasoline. Okay, looking good. Okay, it started. And it even runs quite well. Yeah, quite well indeed. Yeah, adjusting the ignition requires the engine to be warm. I'd better tighten this nut, so that it doesn't come back to haunt us later. Okay, great. Okay, well, the important thing is the engine starts and runs, even while cold. That is just tremendous. So this might have even worked after all. Soon we'll find out how well it worked. Considering it's an older motor, it runs great. Okay, why don't we remove the tube and have a look at the exhaust gases. Okay, to me that looks like, well, motor oil, which we did use to lube the cylinders during assembly. And it appears the paint is burning away. There is so much more smoke than there was before. But we'll let it run for the time being, because we can't quite work out whether it got any better. It's actually holding idle beautifully, and it's not even smoking all that much. So yeah, that's all good and well, but now let's try bringing the revs up. Honestly, I'm not noticing any improvements. Hit it. That'll do. In cylinder 1, the compression used to be at 6. Now it's 7. Go for it. Oh yeah, wide open throttle. That's enough. It's a bit over 6, though I can't tell exactly. 6.3, I guess? Definitely below 6.5. Hit it. That's enough. So again, it's above 6, but I can't tell exactly. Definitely under 7. And that brings us to the last one. That's enough. Just a tiny bit over 6. And it used to be 7. Okay. Now amazingly, in cylinder 1 we saw an increase from 6 to 7. Cylinder 2 jumped from 5.5 to about 6.3. In number 3 it went up by half a kilo, but in number 4 it dropped for some reason to 6.2 from 7. That's weird, or is it? Of course we have a few assumptions as to why that might be the case. What could have happened is that, well, first of all, the paint might have filled up some of the gaps. I mean the grooves for the piston rings. We'll see once we tear it apart. My guess is that the rings can't move around as freely as they used to. As a result, they're throwing up oil and creating a bit of extra oil compression, which would explain the clouds of smoke coming from the exhaust. It's like an old locomotive. Okay, what are we looking at? Nope, the rings are moving around just fine. Yeah, the rings are alright. We can see some... That's not even black paint on them. You see that? It's the silver paint that's clogging up the grooves. So the rings scraped it from the cylinder walls, and there it is. Still, though, the rings move around very well. Why is this covered in oil, though? As for what else we can see happen to the piston, well, a bit of paint has obviously burned off, but it's only around the edge. In the middle, it's totally fine. Isn't that amazing? Lovely. Now I'd like to direct your attention to the part of the skirt that rubs against the cylinder. Oh look, there's actually a bit of paint left inside one of the old scratches. Just a tiny bit. And there's quite a bit of it left where there wasn't too much friction. So I can see a couple of spots, but in all other areas it is gone. Also, you can really tell that the piston crown was subject to some pretty intense rubbing. Almost all of the paint is gone, as you can see. Okay, so that was cylinder 4. The one with some less than impressive compression numbers. The rings on this one are also moving around freely, look at that. You'll notice that most of the paint has been scraped off, and this one had a bunch of scratches on it. And in those scratches, there's still some paint left, inside the deeper ones. But otherwise, it's gone. So it was scraped off. Here up top, well, it did burn off on one side, but there's still some left on the other one. Well, it definitely is heat resistant. Oh man, the paint from... is all packed in between the rings and their grooves. Oh, a black spot, check that out. Where the scratches were. And once again, next to the piston pin, where you don't have all that much friction going on, there's plenty of paint left. There's some more inside those scratches. This paint has some amazing properties. What about this one? Okay, the rings look really bad. There it is, packed in there. The silver paint from the cylinder walls. Now I've got it on this rag. Tremendous. The rings on this one are also free to move. So they weren't really stuck then. Were they now? So obviously, when it comes to restoring an engine, well, not even all motor oil additives do a good job. So no surprise paint didn't work. Well, fellas, you saw it all for yourselves. You can be the judges of whether this works or not. From what I can tell, it's totally worthless. Now, if I can reiterate, hardcore oil additives that actually work do in fact exist, but some of them are worse than others, and that's something you can only evaluate by trying out each individual compound. It also depends on whether the engine can even be salvaged, because sometimes it's just due for an overhaul. And that's all I got for you, fellas. Watch us, subscribe. Send in more videos like that one. I did not expect that kind of reaction, honestly. Anyway, we saw for ourselves what the paint is worth, and that's all I got for you. Watch us, subscribe, send in your suggestions, comment, give us a big thumbs up. Alright, catch you later. Okay, where's he at with that distributor? We should tell him to buy a distributor and a couple of cans of spray paint.